I'm Katie Kempner, and welcome to Perspectives here at Advertising Week Europe. Perspectives is a series of conversations with remarkable working women balancing busy lives. And right now, I am very privileged to be talking to Claudine Collins, Managing Director of MediaCom.
Hi, Katie.
So you have a lovely tan. I hear you just got back from my home.
I did, from Miami. And I was very lucky in that we had a global MediaCom conference in Miami where everyone from around the world came, the chief execs and the MDs. So there were 250 people that descended there for 3 days. And then I went off to see my parents who live about an hour north. So yes, it was a great mixture of business and pleasure.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that because I've been talking with women about the different ways that they balance their lives. Some women try to sort of integrate work and play together, and they say, look, it's my life, it's all one thing. Some people say I need to keep it separate. How do you do it?
If I'm completely honest, in the past, I definitely integrated it. I'll always be honest. I love what I do and I love the people that I deal with. So actually going out for dinner with some of my clients or some of the media owners is not a chore to me. It's actually a pleasure. I think what happened was at the end of last year, I suddenly realised that I have a lot of fantastic friends and I adore my family, and I just wasn't spending enough time with them. And I thought, right, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution that I am going to see them more. I'm actually going to entertain more. I'm going to make sure that I invite people round for dinner. So while it's relaxing in a way cooking, it's also not so relaxing clearing up when you've done kind of like 16-hour days beforehand, then you're preparing it, then you're cooking, and then you've got 50 glasses to wash up and you're back at work the next day. But this year I've definitely seen more of my friends than I have work, but I do tend to do a lot of things in the evening as well that are work related.
And you had mentioned something to me which I would just love to talk about, which is in terms of balancing things. You're not married and you don't have children, and sometimes it seems that you are getting more put on you. And I hear this a lot of times. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I always wanted children. I always wanted a family, and it just didn't happen. So I don't want anyone to miss out on time with their family because they're working and kind of regret it later in life. So I think lots of times in the summer when people want to go on holiday with their families, especially if I was doing a joint role with someone, I'd always be the one that said, no, I'll stay in the office. I don't feel bad about that, and I would still do it now. And the same thing in the evenings when someone says to me, oh, I've been out a couple of nights and I haven't seen the children, I'm like, go, I'll do it, it's not a problem for me. But I think that sometimes I get to the stage and I think, it's no wonder I'm still single because I don't go out and meet anyone. I always do these work things, and actually I have to think sometimes about putting myself first too. And I don't think that sometimes people have the same respect for your private time when you're single as they do with people that have a family. So, often I'll be asked, can you go to this? Or I will be interrupted on my holiday because they kind of think, well, you're sitting around a pool on your own and it's fine to do that. But generally the people I work with, they're good about that. It's other people that maybe not.
It's interesting because when I first started putting this project Perspectives together, as a working mom, I was thinking women with children. Yeah. But the more women I talk to, I realize I've heard what you're saying a lot of times, and having children or not having children, you have to figure out how to have a balanced life.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I got burnt quite badly a couple of years ago in that I thought someone who worked in the industry was a really good friend of mine. And I remember talking to this person and saying, we're great friends and, friends before business and all the rest of it. And then she left the industry and I never heard from her again. And it suddenly made me realise, oh my God, I was just a client to you. And it really, really upset me. So it made me appreciate my friends a bit more that were outside of my working life, who don't always understand the things I'm going through, but are always there for me, come what may. And so I feel, actually, when a friend of mine, it happened last week, my best friend who I don't see that much said to me, I'm up in town, can you make lunch? My lunches are booked out till January practically, and I looked at who I had in the diary. I was like, oh no, it's a supplier, I don't know. And I thought, actually no, I want to see her. I haven't seen her for ages. So I phoned him up and I said, do you mind, can we schedule in? He was great. And I went off and met my best friend, and I thought I should do, like if it was a client, I probably wouldn't do it.
Right.
But it was someone that I felt, actually, we can schedule a coffee or a time in, and it's fine to do that.
I think you did the right thing.
Yeah, I think I did the right thing too.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
You have had such an amazing career so far and still a lot more to come.
Thank you.
And just if you have any advice, or do you have any advice for someone who's starting out, looking to make a change, what would it be?
I think it's be really confident. I think that anyone can do anything that they actually put their mind to. I think women in particular always feel like this imposter syndrome. They think they can't do it. I actually turned down a great job about 5 years ago because I thought, my God, I could never do that. And of course, like a year or two later, I thought, of course I could have done that job. So I think go for it, take opportunities. And the one thing I will also say is just keep learning, be a sponge and kind of have the hunger to learn, because otherwise the pace of change is so quick, you'll get left behind if you don't.
Thank you, that was great advice.
Pleasure.
And it was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, thank you.